3.2? What the actual hell? Are you broken? Are you a broken scale?
Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we are going to be talking about Candy, or Hungry Fat Chick, but we are actually going to be going over some videos that are on her second channel or one of her side channels. She has a couple different channels, but this is the Amazura Dark Star channel, where she is basically, for the most part, kind of going through her weight loss journey and sharing updates and stuff like that. And so the videos that I want to talk about are going to be the two most recent ones. And so we have June 20th and then June 27th. And if you look at the kind of like thumbnail for this video, it says, "Are you broken? Are you a broken scale?" Right? And so this is kind of chronicling Candy trying to lose weight and working on that while, you know, she is doing these mukbangs that she does so frequently. And so we're going to go over this video. I think it's very interesting. And then another thing that I do want to go over, especially on the most recent upload that she has uploaded, is the comments on those videos, and just in general the comments on Candy's types of videos and other videos that I've seen that I personally am not really a big fan of. I don't really agree with a lot of them, but let's go ahead and watch this video, because I do feel like there is actually some genuinely good information here, and she shares some stuff that I think will be helpful for other people, but I think will give us a little bit of insight into her journey and what she's doing right now.
Hey y'all.
And so I do want to say, for context, in like March of this year, Candy was about 400 pounds, just so you're kind of aware of the timeline, just so you guys can see that she actually has lost a significant amount of weight. And I think it's something that you can actually see if you look at her videos from years past versus where she's at now. So she has made some progress, right? Obviously, I would hope it would be a little bit faster, but, you know, progress is progress.
Today is June 20th. Friday, and it's time for the weekly weigh-in. Yeah, I had a date with the Colonel, and I had McDonald's after midnight this week. So, oh gosh, and Wednesday, Susan came over to visit. I feel so bad, because we had El Pollo Loco for dinner, and we were trying to, like, behave, and, like, not even an hour after dinner, and I'm like in my phone looking at donuts like a crazy person. So I had a few donuts, like 3.5.
So obviously that shows, I mean, it's one of those things that Candy, I think, is one of the quintessential people when you talk about like food addiction. I know that there's a lot of people that are like, oh, food addiction doesn't actually exist, it's fake, right? Whatever. But like, this is clearly someone that struggles with their relationship with food, and, you know, that's a clear indication of that, right? Ordering a ton of donuts after you had your dinner is not a normal activity that people would do, right?
On Wednesday night as well. But that being said, I'm pretty sure I did well for the rest of the week. I've been upping my protein.
So this is one of the things that I think people that aren't in very large bodies really struggle with understanding. And even those in larger bodies, this is why I always say, when you're in a really big body and you're trying to lose weight, you can make some changes that can see drastic results, but also you can make mistakes, right? Mistakes in quotes, and it not ruin all the progress you've made, as long as you just keep going, right? I've used the wagon, you know, analogy a million times, but when you're on a wagon, right, you're riding the wagon down and you fall off the wagon, right? The wagon doesn't just keep barreling down the road and there's nothing you can do about it, right? You just have to get back on it and continue, right? What a lot of people end up doing is they fall off the wagon. They're like, oh my God, I fell off the wagon. And they start sprinting backwards because they think the wagon isn't there anymore, when in reality, they can just hop back on the wagon. Super, super common, especially those of us that are losing weight, and especially common at the beginning of losing weight, because so many people get so caught up in being perfect. I'm going to do everything right. I'm going to be perfect. And then you end up not having a perfect day and you're like, well, what's the point, right? You can always hop back on the wagon.
Which has made, you know, reaching my calorie goal, you know, easier, because because protein fills you up. I mean,
protein is definitely very satiating. Anyone that I've ever worked with, that's one of the main things we focus on, is getting enough protein in, for sure.
Like, I started the week after the Colonel, like the following day, Saturday. Was it Saturday?
So when she's talking about the Colonel, and these are the mukbangs that she did. So she did a KFC mukbang, and then she did a McDonald's mukbang this week. That's what she's mentioning here.
Anyway, it was after the Colonel. I had an egg scramble. Huge egg and egg.
This is a solid meal. Like, I have nothing, there is nothing wrong in this meal. Like, for me, I would probably maybe take a little bit away of the fat away, you know, with like the avocado, and then add some toast or something, because I personally like carbs. But this is a meal. This is something that I have made in the past, like an egg white, for the most part, scramble with maybe some meat in it, and, you know, kind of dress it how you want. I used to do like a ton of spinach in it. Like, this is a solid meal. I don't know if she had, like, over here we have some of this Light and Fit Greek yogurt, which I like quite a bit as well. This is a solid meal. Like, I don't see this and think to myself, oh my God, why would you eat this? Like, this is something that I would eat myself.
Egg white scramble with spinach, onion, bell pepper, tomatoes, a small avocado, cottage cheese. Yep, just 3 eggs, 3 whole eggs, and a cup and a half of egg whites. It makes a lot. Oh, and ham. Yeah, there's half a pound of that Longmont uncured ham. Half a pack is 120 calories. So this is fair.
This is so easy to make too, right? Like, this takes almost no time to make this. It takes a few minutes, and then bam, you have breakfast. It's like one of the easiest things that you can do, especially if you struggle with eating breakfast, or just in general, you're thinking of a meal, some sort of scramble. So easy.
Well, for the amount of food that it is, this is like getting close to like 1,000 calories, but that's only because I like added the added the avocado, and you know, it's high protein though, so hey. But yeah, this is a lot of food. It's gonna like keep me full most of the day, and I've still got almost 1,000 calories for the evening, so it's good. This is a lot of food, fairly healthy. So the egg whites are all watery.
Yeah, that happens.
But still tasty.
I would put some Tapatio on it personally.
And it had spinach, ham, cottage cheese, not just regular cheese, cottage cheese, tomatoes, and it was 3 whole eggs and a cup and a half of egg whites. Oh my God, it was huge. It was a huge portion. It was like half of my calories for the day, and I couldn't even finish it. Anyway, so I've been trying the whole.
That's why, like, volume eating can be so helpful. Finding things that are low calorie but high volume, because you spend a lot of time eating, and maybe you don't even end up finishing it, like Candy said that she didn't, right? That stuff can be super helpful for losing weight, because I think part of for a lot of people that struggle with weight loss is because the act of eating is almost like it is like a sensory thing for them. Like, I mean, I say that as currently I am messing with this silly putty under the table, right? I am a sensory guy. I like having a bunch of different toys. Look, I have this one right here too that I mess with when I'm filming videos. Like, I get it, right? I get, and I feel like eating for a lot of people is this sensory kind of experience. And so just the act of chewing, that's part of it, right? And having meals that are higher in volume but lower in calories can really help, because it's almost like you're tricking your brain, right?
Like trying to reach my protein goals. I can't reach my protein goal. I can't. You're supposed to have, and this is probably for like bodybuilders or whatever, you're supposed to have like a gram of protein per pound.
Okay, so almost. So what the common recommendation is 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass, right? So Candy is around, spoiler, 370 something, right? And so, Candy, you should not be eating that much protein, and that is not necessary at all. And so I would encourage you to eat less of protein for sure. I think you would be completely fine with 150 grams of protein. That's even probably like that should be fine, right? And that should help with the satiation. But again, everyone's different. If you are feeling like having, higher protein than 150 grams helps you feel full and it helps you stay on track, then of course, by all means. The reason I'm saying this is because she's kind of mentioning it in like a, I'm failing and I'm not able to hit this number. You're not able to hit that number because that number is incredibly high, and most people would struggle to hit that number. You know what I mean? Especially if they're not eating like, 4,000 calories a day, which, I'm sure Candy does on occasion, but like when she's trying to be on track, she's saying that she's around 2,000-ish calories a day, right? Trying to hit that much protein and to be at 2,000 calories, very, very difficult. And so, per 150 grams of protein should be fine for Candy. For anyone really, like, that's the way that I like to look at it. 1 gram of protein per lean, body mass, right? And so for me, I eat around 160 to 180 grams of protein. I weigh like 210 pounds, but, obviously I have fat, I have skin that weight, you know what I mean? So that's my recommendation for anyone out there.
Or whatever. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to eat enough protein for a 380-pound person. I want to eat enough protein for like a 200-pound person, 250. So I've been kind of reaching that. But if I was trying to go for a huge protein, oh no, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. It's just too much, protein shakes, protein bars, all that stuff, that's garbage anyway. But adding extra egg whites, that was a thing. I did eggs and egg whites with my food yesterday as well, because after the donuts Wednesday, I was trying to like really cut back. And I did good. I was like way under my calorie goal for the day, about 600 calories or whatever, something like that. So hopefully, that being said, hopefully today is okay. All right, I've rattled off enough. Yeah, anyway, let's do it. All right. Woo-wee. Okay. Let's get it on.
Hello.
Hi.
It's ready.
Okay. Stepping up. I'm standing up just a little bit straighter. Oop. Oh, stop moving.
373.2 pounds.
What?
So it said 373.2 pounds.
373.2? What the actual hell? Okay, I gotta do that again. I'm gonna sit down. Okay. I'm gonna admit, I weighed myself yesterday just to see where I was at.
That's something that I'm always curious when people do like weigh-in videos, and like it's like, I'm gonna weekly weigh in. I'm like, do you not weigh yourself during the week? Because like I'm sure like that. If it was me, I know I'd be curious. Like if I like had a good weigh-in the day before, I'd be so excited. Like, dude, this is gonna freaking pop off. This is gonna be sick. You know what I mean? And so at least she admits it right there.
Hi. And I was at 377.2. So this is kind of confusing. Like, how in the... Are you broken? Are you a broken scale? Yeah, no. Okay. So that would mean I lost 4 pounds overnight.
I mean, that's certainly possible, especially for someone that is, Candy size. I think it's, I don't know. That's one of the things when this is one of the issues when it comes to like weekly weigh-ins is that the weight can fluctuate so much, especially when you are the size of Candy or someone of similar size. Your weight can fluctuate quite a bit. And this is why I think a lot of times people will almost give themselves undue stress because they will, if they actually are only weighing themselves once a week, they will maybe have a night where they end up eating more sodium or whatever, drink a little bit more water than normal, and then they weigh themselves for their weekly weigh-in the next day, and that weight is higher because of that stuff. But in reality, maybe they haven't really gained any weight, and maybe they've actually lost a little bit of weight, but because they're only weighing themselves once a week, and like they see the number a little bit higher. I'm not saying that that's the case here. This kind of goes into the issue that I personally have with a lot of commentators that I've seen in this video, and especially the next one, which is a really short video, where people just like they're like, oh, she's lying about this, or this isn't true. I'm sorry, but like from what I've seen with Candy's stuff, like she's not here faking stuff. If the weight is off, I would personally rather feel like that is some sort of error on the scale or something like that. Like I don't think she is intentionally trying to cheat these weigh-ins. That's my opinion, and it's just so bizarre seeing people so adamant and sure that that's happening. I just feel like that's, I don't know. Like I think there's things that you can, disagree with, or you can be like, oh, I don't like this or that. But like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like people like let their maybe dislike for someone like cloud their, kind of common sense. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I feel like I see that a lot with like Candy or like Amberlynn and other people like that.
Granted, I was up every hour and a half peeing. Every hour and a half. And then I took like a really good bowel movement, I have to say. Sorry.
I mean, I understand.
But, y'all know, so 4 pounds in a day? Okay. Here, is she still shooting? Okay, yeah, here we go. Alrighty.
Okay.
Okay, come on, girl.
Weigh in number
What are
2.
we? Really?
Hello.
Hi.
It's ready.
Okay, getting on. Okay. Holding my belly, not holding on to anything. Don't move.
374.4 pounds.
374.4. Okay, well, still good, but damn, that's crazy. 374.4.
Those scales, from what I've seen, because I see a few people weigh themselves on like the scales that talk. I don't know what it is about them, but they seem to have kind of variance. Like there's a couple people that I follow that do like weekly weigh-ins, and they'll step on the scale and they usually have to step on it like 2 to 3 times, and then they'll kind of average the number, kind of split it in the middle, because it does like fluctuate quite a bit. I don't know if that's like a feature of like these scales, but even my home scale, when I use it, like if I move it slightly over on the floor, especially because I live in a very old apartment that was built in like, the colonial era, the floor isn't the most stable at spots. So, I'll move it slightly over and then, I'm, a pound lighter. And then, so again, like weighing yourself at home, it's not going to be a perfect science, but you do what you can to try and keep things as the same as possible every time you weigh yourself, right?
Okay, I had to do a double take. I had to do it again because that was like, okay.
Goodbye.
Bye. So, if I do good for the majority of the week, I can still lose weight.
So that's the mindset that I don't want to say I don't love it, but I feel like it is the kind of the mindset that keeps you, when I say you, I mean Candy, but anybody, right, that's in this spot of like, it can kind of keep you in a very disadvantageous space because you're almost okay with mediocrity, if that makes sense. And like, there is nothing wrong with understanding your limitations and not trying to push too hard and understanding where you are in life and all of that stuff. And I feel like Candy is at a point where, losing significant amounts of weight by, doing a ton of physical activity. We saw how hard it was for her to even just stand up on the scale. Obviously, it's very difficult, right? And so like the main driving factor for her weight loss and, pretty much everyone else's weight loss is going to be the diet. And I feel like this is kind of, while I'm glad that she is, kind of trending down, it feels like a lot of times it is used as a way to just kind of to be able to do the things that she's been doing with the mukbangs, and it's like a way to just be like, oh, see, it's still working, so I'm still going to continue this. And I feel like more than anything, because like, the supporters she has, are there going to be supporters, the people that don't like her are not going to like her. I think more than anything, it's kind of a narrative that she tells herself to feel okay about what she's doing, right? With like a couple mukbangs a week of unhealthy food and then trying to be good. But then she said it herself, right? She ended up getting donuts after she got El Pollo Loco and stuff like that. And even that, it's like, is El Pollo Loco the best thing in the world? No. Is it the worst thing in the world? No. But should you just maybe be eating at home more, cooking? I always say that. DoorDash is the enemy for most people when it comes to trying to lose weight because it's just too easy and it is too addicting.
It just proves it. It just proves I at least stayed on track for most of the week. I had three days where I ate naughty, but I still stuck kind of around my calorie goal even on the bad days. So it's calories in, calories out. That's all I can say, calories in, calories out. And then the type of calories that I'm putting in on the good days, lots of protein, getting in some veg like spinach and, I like tomatoes, spinach and tomatoes. Yesterday I had eggs with ham and cheese and the egg whites, of course, and the other half of my meal, which I was gonna eat the whole thing, but I couldn't finish it. I got one of those Bird's Eye Voila meals, and it's like 3 servings in the package. So the total calories through the whole package was like over 600 calories, but it's a lot of food. It's like pasta, chicken, broccoli, carrots, it's got lots of veg in it. And it's just a microwavable thing, but I only ate half. And then I couldn't really finish my eggs, so I mixed like probably a third of my egg mixture. I put that into the Bird's Eye Voila Voila candy. So I lost 3 pounds yesterday, overnight. Anyway, okay, I'm
So I think I'm glad that she was able to do that. And like the way that I think that would be helpful for Candy. And I mean, this is with anyone, this is something that I've talked a lot about, is like having these staple meals that are, maybe this scramble that she had, like just being like, okay, I'm going to, obviously ideally the mukbangs wouldn't happen. Right. And but I don't think that's realistic. I don't think Candy is ever going to stop them, if I'm being completely honest. So I think what would be the most helpful thing would be to have staple meals that she has throughout the week that are not when she's doing mukbangs, but those make it so all of the choices and decisions are gone, right? Because you know how to bake it. You know what you need to order from the store, because obviously I'm assuming Candy's not going to the store herself, so she's probably door dashing the food to her house. So you know what you need to order, you know what you need to get, you know how long it takes for the meal to get there, or for the food to get there, you know how long it takes for the food to cook, you know how the food is going to make you feel. This is a huge part of what's been helpful for me for, my weight loss. But, that's obviously just how I feel. But I wanted to also go over the most recent video. This one is really short, but more than anything, the comments on this video are very interesting to me.
okay. It's Friday, June 27th. That's what day it is. And it's after 4 p.m., but I sleep all day. Anyway, I'm gonna make it a quick one because I've got to get doing stuff. Anyway.
I mean, I think she just doesn't feel like doing this, but that's okay.
Okay, let's see where I'm at today. Alrighty. Okay. Oh, dang, I moved it.
Hello.
Hi.
It's ready.
Okay. Oh, carefully. Oops. Oh, dropped something. Dang it.
372.4 pounds.
372.4. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take that. All right, come on.
So, I mean, that's a couple pounds down, right? It's not bad.
Rolly, let's go. 372.4. All right, I believe it.
Okay, so that's, again, like I said, it's a very short video. That's pretty much it. But it is interesting seeing the comments, right? Some of them are quite nice. Here, let me move my face down a little bit so I'm not covering them. Some of the people, which I love seeing it, right? This is great, Candy. Slow and steady wins the race. I'm happy for you, right here with you. Hugs and prayers. I was 415. I'm 231 now. You can do it. And then people say, how does she lose weight doing these mukbangs? I think it's honestly, like I said, if you can, eat in a deficit while still doing the mukbang, it's possible, but it makes it significantly harder to do, right? And then but it's these comments that I'm just like, this is so bizarre that someone genuinely feels like they could know this. But it goes on to say, I've watched enough 600-pound life to know she's not 372 pounds, right? And it is crazy to me that there are so many people out here that genuinely believe that they for sure, for a fact, know that Kandi is lying. Right here. No way she's 374 pounds. Well, she never said she was 374. She said she was 372 or more, but whatever. No way you are 372. That one YouTuber is around the same size and is 150 pounds heavier, and she can also move around. She's lying to herself. She knows her scale is wrong, right? It is insane to me how people they think that they can see someone on the internet, not even see them in person, and know for a fact that they are a certain size, regardless of if maybe Kandi's scale is messed up. But like the fact that someone is out here saying, I know for a fact that this is a lie, I think it's silly, right? It's like when I look at Amberlynn Reid too, right? I'll see people. I was actually there was a subreddit which I really don't use very much, especially like the Amberlynn Reid stuff. But I was seeing, it was interesting because Amberlynn Reid in one of her recent videos, she did a weigh-in where she's standing on the scale in the shot. She's filming the whole thing. She stands on the scale. The scale says how much she weighs. And there were even still people in that comment section, right? Obviously, there are people saying they don't believe it on YouTube, but on this Reddit thing where they're saying, oh, it's not true. It's not true. And luckily, I saw a few comments in the thread that said, I'm going to sit here. I believe that this is true. I'm not going to be someone that says, oh, I need more proof. Because at this point, it's like, what else is this person, Amberlynn Reid or Kandi, supposed to do? They are standing on the scale in the video, especially with Amberlynn Reid. With Kandi, I guess you could be like, oh, well, she's, she might be holding on to something. I don't believe that that's true. But like with Amberlynn Reid, it's like, it just seems like some people have there's zero way for anything to be true. Everything this person says is a lie. Everything is fake. I think it's like, it's important to be able to criticize someone. You have to also, in my opinion, be able to give them the benefit of the doubt at times, or even be like, hey, I believe this thing, right? But I also disagree with this. I feel like that's possible. And it seems like some people just have this desire to just every single thing that is ever said and ever done is fake and wrong and it's not true. And I feel like that just kind of undercuts a lot of the like issues that people might have that are genuine issues, right? When you're just like, everything is wrong, because then they can point that stuff out and say like, look, my haters are, they don't believe anything, right? And then, they can point that stuff out, when instead we should just focus on the things that I think are more important. But again, that's just, that was kind of a ramble. That's just a side note, but that's something that I wanted to share. But with Kandi, again, it's hard because I want to see her be successful, in the weight loss, but I do understand to an extent that she has to pay her bills, and these mukbangs are the things that sadly that work for her. And she definitely has a certain audience that is into that stuff. And so, I don't know. It's always a struggle whenever I talk about Kandi, because I like her as a person and I want to see her succeed, and in just weight loss, but also in being a content creator, because it does seem like something that she enjoys to an extent. I think it definitely is more of a job than anything at this point for her. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting with that. But I wanted to share a little bit of updates on what's going on with Kandi behind the scenes, on the other channel where she does kind of share the weight loss stuff. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.